we don't want you to do pie in the sky. Hey, I want to have $1 million business, or I want to be the next, market leader in this. We want it something that's really specific, that you can relate to, that you can emotionally ground yourself on. And hopefully you're seeing the graphic of the Momentum Launch Roadmap.
Yep.
All right.
Go ahead and walk us through this.
Okay. So the idea is most people who aspire to great things online, have this idea of, I want to have a $1 million business, a 7-figure business online. And the reality is very few people can get there by doing one product launch. It's a progression, and it starts off with us getting clear on what our product is and doing a beta launch, where we do it to a few friends and people we know are interested. And then that grows and we get a little bit bigger following, and we do an internal launch, to our list and our social media. We get practice on that, and then we reach out to affiliates, and that's where the real leverage comes in. But you can't shortcut that success path. You can't buy affiliate relationships. You have to earn it. So the framework is this. Let's go through a planning process that you see here in block 1. So there are 3 rows here. And the first one is the planning process that I've talked about. And it's about forecasting your future. All right. So what's involved in the planning? Well, it's defining specific long-term goals, which are financial and personal. And in the process, we don't want you to do pie in the sky. Hey, I want to have $1 million business, or I want to be the next, market leader in this. We want it something that's really specific, that you can relate to, that you can emotionally ground yourself on. So we go through a process of determining what those goals look like. And then there's a combined process in the numbers 2 and 3 here, where you really see what you're good at. What do I have? What you take inventory of, what is my thing in my background that I am uniquely qualified to share with other people, and you dial in that product offering, that experience, and the niche or the target audience to identify it with. And while I'm on that, what I want to do, just for a second, I'm going to stop sharing here. And I want to, get in touch with something that you alluded to, is like, can you work with just, anybody to do this, or do they already have to be online? And the interesting thing is the people who have an offline expertise, they're a specialist already. Like they're a therapist or a one-to-one practitioner who's developed in their area of expertise a methodology that is pretty unique, and they're good at delivering it one-on-one, and they're confident in delivering. So they have expertise and confidence, and now they want to go online. So it's easier to work with a person like that, who has the expertise, and then all we have to do is bring them through a process to bring it online that builds on it, than it is a person who has tried a number of things online, and none of it has worked, and they're trying to figure out, well, what can I offer that is unique? Because they typically have a lot of stuff to overcome. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. I know all about that.
And so, I mean, we were in a high-level coaching program where people took, most of the people, hundreds, took more than 6 months to get clarity on what it is, they were going to offer, right?
I mean, if they ever got clarity. I know people, I mean, that program was 3.5 years ago now,
Yeah.
a long time ago. But there are a lot of people in that program that still never, ever got clarity on what they were doing or where they were going or what was going on. They're still spinning. I mean, that's a whole different thing. I think your process at the beginning. So anyone who right away says, well, my goal is to make $1 million. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I don't think you are either, but bring that goal closer so that it's something you believe you can do in the next 90 days. And as much as we've all heard like the law of attraction and think big and all of that, think about I believe this is what you're saying. Pick something that you can really believe in and be like, I know that if I really put my mind to it, I can achieve this goal. And you actually believe it, because if you believe it, you will take the actions. If you pick a goal that is too big or too far out there, I always relate this to losing weight. People are like, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to go to the gym. It's going to be awesome. And they get out of bed really early and they go to the gym for 4 hours and they work out really hard. And then they come home and they're sore and they're tired and they're miserable. And they get up the next day and, oh man, I'm just too sore. I'm too tired. I can't do that. Well, I'll go for and they go to the gym and they go for maybe half an hour and they do one workout that doesn't hurt. Pick something that you can do, that you can move forward, that you can get yourself into momentum. And even if you just get your first launch, your first launch is about growing your list, about getting some sales, about proving that you can do something in the marketplace. It does not have to be $1 million launch. It doesn't have to be $100,000 launch. It definitely could be. But if you do 10 grand, if you do 20 grand, it's a success. It got you momentum. It gets you names on your list. So I don't know, I'll get off my soapbox, but that's what I hear you saying. And I agree with it.
So here's what I found. Remember the example of, online marketers who have tried things, given it a little bit of focus, tried something else, shift what they want to offer. They reinvent themselves, constantly. I call that sideways marketing. And so what we need to do is to get people on a vertical trajectory, into vertical marketing, so that what they do builds on each other, so that, sure, if you're the type of person that needs variety, you can still have that, but you have to have an overall framework where the things that you're launching and selling, make sense and they tie together so that you're not disjointed. And so that presented the next challenge, which is what I built the model for and the way that I approach things. And so that challenge was, how do I get a sideways marketer to become convinced that if they just focused on a long-term trajectory, that they could reach their goal. And so let me show you the model again, and I'll show you what I came up with.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are at the end of the first row in the planning area. So this item number 5 is about creating a 3-year sequential projections. Now, there are 4 primary launch models that I think that every way that you can launch out there really falls into those categories. And those models are particular to the individual, so some people won't do the traditional launch model where, you go out to the world and you have, say, a 7-day period where your cart is open, and you put yourself out there in a big way and bring on affiliates and so forth. Some people just don't want to gravitate towards that. Others want to gravitate towards more of what I call a roadshow launch, which is where you take it on the road, working with one affiliate at a time, give that affiliate and all of their people on their lists that they influence, a solid week of your time and your love and attention. And that fits their temperament a lot better. Some want to do something totally different, which is to go completely pre-recorded, and to do a kind of like an on hold or auto repeat type of launch, where they create a webinar and then, behind the scenes are running ads to it. And each week or month, they're, running people to that launch. So the method to reach your goals are specific to your goals and to your style and your time frame. And so I've created a model in this number 5
Mm-hmm.
for each of those launch types and blending them where I can show how with your goals, how long it's going to take you to reach your goals. And that's where my CPA background comes in and my modeling,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had enough experience to know conversion rates, and opt-in rates and Facebook ads results and so forth, to take a very conservative approach. And then when I present that to people and show them before they've ever done the launch that if this is your goal and you want to put this amount of effort into it, it will take you this long to get there. So some people can get there in less than a year. Some people, might be in their 3rd year, to reach their goal. But I can quantify that with financial projections explained and shown in such a way that it makes total sense and it's tied to your individual goals. Then that, by following this approach, you can get there. So what do
Awesome.
you think that does to people's level of motivation to then jump into block 2, a launch and starting into the program?
Nice. I mean, I'm sure it gets them moving, which is exactly what they need to be doing, right?
Exactly. So here, block 2 is all about the current product launch. So, what we're doing is we're moving, we moved from left to right on the first row, and now we're going, from right to left. And here again, the planning. We've talked about planning on a global sense. Now we're planning your first launch. So we know what kind of launches are in your toolbox that are tailor fit for you. You've bought into those. And now we're going to say, before you start implementing it, let's plan it out. So you mentioned earlier, I like for new people online, I love what I call a momentum launch, which is one of those 4 models. It's the last one, actually, that we've talked about the other 3. And so the idea is it's 2 launches in one. It is the combination of what we know as an unboxing type launch and a presentation launch. And you can there are a number of specific mechanisms to achieve each of those. Let's just talk about one for the unboxing, and that would be a challenge. So an unboxing launch is just what the name implies, that how you get a package in the mail and you unwrap the paper and inside is a box, like if you buy something from Amazon. Inside is a box, and in it are a number of smaller packages because you probably bought a number of things online. So an unboxing launch is that concept. And so a challenge does exactly that. You look to solve one particular problem of your audience, and in the process of doing that, you're convincing them that you're the person to take them to the next step, which is the bigger launch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your bigger program, and that you have a presentation or a webinar to deliver that. So that's what we do. And so you can see that in that combination of a challenge launch and a say a webinar launch, there are a lot of moving parts that are interrelated. So not only do you have to determine what the components of your challenge are, but true to unboxing, what are your upsell components going to be? What is your one-time offer and the other things you're going to offer? And so most people will tend to jump into that and hope that it all flows together because it's easier to implement than to plan. But if you plan, so you see how all of those things feed off of each other and build to the next thing, what happens is the result is you can actually implement faster. You can get into launch mode faster. and you get a better result because your subconscious mind is already processing those things that you introduced, right here in section 6 of your planning process. Okay, creating that launch storyboard, which pulls together in outline and thought form all of the things that are going to be developed, much deeper as you move through the launch. And I've shared that with you, Steve,
Yeah.
what do you think of that process?